Alright, gonna try to get this together. Exchange place.
Everyone's in their outfits.
Catch the path under the river, Manhattan. This originally was a trip
Brooklyn.
just going out to lunch in Red Hook, going to Petit Crevette, but you'll see later on we decided to forge ahead. City Hall Park, His Honor the Mayor. It's a beautiful park now. You can make a right onto Chambers Street. There's the municipal building, favorite building of Joseph Stalin. They built a copy in Moscow. I always got to say that. And then you make a right onto the Brooklyn Bridge, which was not too crowded, and the people seem to be getting better about staying on the pedestrian lane. But people still try to ride their bikes downhill like 30 miles an hour. What are you going to do? It's not one thing, it's another. So it drops you down in Brooklyn. We're doing something to this old building here. It's kind of nice. And you kind of go under the Manhattan Bridge, which is also a very pretty bridge. We'll come home on that on the subway later. This that glass cube there is the carousel, which is next to the Brooklyn Bridge, and this is Fulton Landing of Walt Whitman fame. So this is the new Brooklyn Bridge Park. It has a bike lane with too many speed bumps, we was saying. But nice, huh? So then off to the wonderland of Red Hook, where we still love Obama. And there's lots of creative signage. It's all very cutesy. This is a great idea, but their pies are very sweet. And look at this trailer. Oh my God. They took a pop-up and they made it into a hardtop with a little sleeping loft. Doesn't that look great? You could rent that on Airbnb for like $125 a night, probably. Yeah, not your run-of-the-mill urban murals. So Matt had he was wearing really stinky clothes, so he had to stop at we stopped at like a tag sale and he got his new shirt. He's showing off here. Later on, he had to change the hat too because that was stinky. So we rode back from Red Hook back to Petit Crevette, which is kind of going back toward Brooklyn Bridge. Stopped in the wine store. This is my favorite wine store. It's really nice and not crazy expensive. And they have a nice selection of these new local scotches. Look at that. Nice, huh? So went around the corner, Petit Crevette. Yep, Saturday, 1 o'clock, closed. This has happened before. Yep, when he doesn't feel like opening, he doesn't open. Matt checked the sign, but it was supposed to be open. So we decided to go here. It's a place called Ice House on the right there. It's on Van Brunt, which is the main street of Red Hook. This got flooded really bad in Sandy. Of course, it's hard to find a place to park your bike because this is bike land. Hipster bike land. Still, everything taken, but we finally, across the street, found the pole. Went inside. This is places that has a very small menu, but they have very good burgers and good. Matt had the pulled pork, which is they're kind of famous for. And of course, PBRs is the drink in when you're a hipster. Matt's thrilled with the video. Really good onion rings. Really good onion rings. And secret sauce, too. So then out to the, that's the IKEA ferry, leaving IKEA. They got a free ferry to Wall Street, which we've taken that too. You know, if you're tired, you don't want to ride home, you just take the free ferry. This is a nice park. Its theme is the merchant marine history of Brooklyn. So they have some, there's an old crane they've saved. They have a lot of old cranes. And they got some little exhibits of various paraphernalia. This must be some kind of winch engine or something, and tools. And Barbara knows what these are called. I forget the name. They're not pylons or something like that. Yellow mushrooms. So this is, let's see, what is this called? I forget. Something basin, not mill basin. I think there's a sign later. But there's some big ships there, huh? Look at that with the big cranes on them. And then there's just a kind of a plain pier with a lot of guys fishing. So we rode out that. Matt and Barbara came riding back to me. They told me that the Meal on Wheels truck had made a stop and they were distributing lunches. They didn't know if that was official or they were leftovers or what. Also out here is a Law and Order staple. The pound for when they seize cars, you know, and they're looking for bloodstains and hairs and fibers and whatnot. So we're off to the ride along the New York Harbor to Coney Island. That's the Gowanus Canal. This is the bridge over the Gowanus Canal. And above there, and that upstairs there is the Gowanus Expressway, famous on the traffic report because it's always backed up. This is actually a shot from earlier that I just slipped in here, you know. It's an auteur kind of film. You have some leeway. You know, you have to edit for dramatic content, keep the flow correct. But this is kind of like where we were actually at this point. We were in a lot of warehouses along the water. Very quiet, very quiet. Oh, there it is again. PBR. Pabst Blue Ribbon. So Matt was ahead. He stopped here because he was telling us how he used to work here. When he was helping restore a tugboat, a woman and her daughter lived on a tugboat in Jersey City. And they used to, it was an active tugboat, and they would go here and they would slide the boxcars onto a barge and they'd push it to Jersey. A little shortcut. So now we're just about at the water. We're going to go right, and going to go right under the BQE, Brooklyn Queens Expressway. I think it's called the Belt Parkway down here. There's the harbor. And across there to the right is Jersey City, and to the left is Staten Island. And somewhere out there's the Statue of Liberty and all that hokum. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Emma Lazarus, thank you. So you see we have our coats on, it's cold, it's windy, right in our face. We're riding down the dock of the bay. See the Verrazano Bridge in the distance there. There's Staten Island. It's so nice here. It's so nice. You smell the sea. So we stopped for a little rest, and we realized that this was the spot where our motorboat lost its propeller one day, and we waited 4 or 5 hours for the towboat, which never came, but the Coast Guard showed up with their big ship, and they tied us alongside them, cut our anchor, and towed us home. And you know what? We never got a bill. That was nice. That was a very exciting night. Very exciting night. I'll never forget that. It was just getting dark, and the harbor was emptying. You know, the tide was going out. This is just some flotsam or jetsam, whatever. Here's the Verrazano Bridge. We're going under it now. Bicycles are not allowed except one day of the year when they have the 5-borough bike tour, which was actually the next day, Sunday, but cost $80, so we don't need that. The wind kind of was picking up. You'll see white caps out there. That city in the distance, I don't know, you might think that's Miami or Rio, but it's actually Coney Island, our destination. Looks like it's now about I don't know, what do you think? 5 miles? 4 or 5 miles away? You can see the parachute drop, which is kind of an iconic structure. It's very faint. So here we are on Mermaid Avenue in Coney Island. That's the, the ghetto rule is you ride against traffic. So when you're riding in the, in a more challenged neighborhood, you have bikes hitting you right on there. They're not putting their back to traffic. What are you, crazy? So down the end of Mermaid, that's not Mermaid, that's the amusement park. That's the bike shed. That's Barbara Henry, famous colorist. Think she thought about that? Turquoise and orange? Yeah? You think? So at the end of the ride, which was not too bad, not too crowded. Of course, you get on at the first stop, so you get a seat. This is the Manhattan Bridge, going back to Manhattan. That's the bike path, and you can see there is no one on it. It's a really nice bike path. You don't have to worry about pedestrians and people taking pictures and all that crap. So just want to say hi to Mustafa in Istanbul. My old friend who lived in Jersey City with us for a couple of years, going to school and such. So, ciao. Look, we're brushed. Look at Matt was sleeping.